When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
You're listening to the voice of Justine McIntyre filling in for Elias Makos this week, as I was last week. Elias is in the United States, of course, in the lead up to this very big election day that's happening this week. We're talking now about immigration pathways in Quebec. Quebec has temporarily frozen two key immigration pathways, the Quebec Experience Program and the Regular Skilled Worker Program, citing concerns about the impact of newcomers on the province's language and culture. But I think even beyond that, some questions about the impact on our institutions, on healthcare, on housing. So despite the freeze, though, the government is still planning to welcome up to 67,000 immigrants in 2025. That's an increase from previous years, emphasizing that a higher percentage will be French speakers. To speak with us about this is Patrice Brunet. He's an immigration lawyer, and he joins us in studio today. Welcome, Patrice.
Morning, Justine.
Good morning. So there have been a lot of announcements coming out about immigration, and this is the latest announcement. How is this going to impact people that are coming to Quebec, these two specific programs?
Yeah, so those programs, I mean, it's the PEQ, Programme de l'Expérience Québécoise, Quebec Experience Program. And, you know, when we got the news last week that it would be suspended until next June, that's the intake of applications. So those who have their application currently being processed, they have nothing to worry about. They will continue to be processed.
That's reassuring.
Yes, it's reassuring to them,
yes,
but not necessarily to those who were just waiting for to file their application. Mm-hmm. So the two programs that have been suspended until next June are the PEQ for graduates, so those who are just graduating from a Quebec establishment, and the PRTQ, the Programme Régulier. So that's like a point system based on your age, your proficiency in French, and so on. So that's been suspended, and it's curious because the PRTQ was to be changed by the PSTQ at the end of November. So they're suspending that as well until June.
So wait, that program was going to be replaced by a new what was the difference? Why was it being replaced?
I'm not going to get into all the technical details, but it would be more targeted at francophones, and there were 4 categories that they announced, and we have a conference at the end of the week, and we had for immigration lawyers, and there's a lot of questions that Immigration Quebec was going to answer to us, but now it's been suspended until June. So my take is that they have too much inventory, so they want to dial it down. For the next 2 years, as you said, they're still going to maintain or even increase numbers to take care of that inventory, but you know, the PEQ is really a program that, from the mouth of Premier Legault just a year ago, he said that's an amazing program because it's our graduates and it's also the workers that have accumulated some experience here. So they're almost totally integrated into Quebec society. And those are the prime candidates that we want. Just as clarification, the PEQ for workers is not suspended. So that is still open for those who want to file. But my advice is that if you qualify under the PEQ worker, and you should file as soon as possible, because this government makes almost an announcement every week. So who knows if it's going to be the next one that's going to be suspended over the next few weeks.
So very destabilizing for people not know what direction it's going to take.
Yeah, and this system needs predictability.
Yeah.
And it's not as if those numbers are huge. We're talking about a few tens of thousands of candidates. That's less than 0.00% of the population in Quebec. So the discourse from the government that says, it's bringing a toll on our education system, health system, That's, those are young people. They barely go to the hospital. They sometimes they may have kids that go into the education system, but that's not the right debate. So my recommendation, if I was immigration minister, is give us some predictability. It's fine to have quotas. It's fine to have goals and targets, and we should have them in Quebec, in Canada as well. But give that over a horizon of 1, 2, or 3 years. When you bring those decisions that with an immediate effect, it just sends a message to the best and the brightest to shop elsewhere. Go to Australia, remain in Great Britain, maybe go to the US as well. There are a lot of countries that are looking for those candidates who have just graduated from great programs in our engineering schools and nursing schools, and you're just pushing them away. And not just to other countries, you're pushing them to other provinces in Canada. Minister Miller announced last week that he would increase the targets of francophones for immigration from 6% to 10%. So where's Quebec going to be 3, 4, 5 years from now? That's my concern. The next 2 years is fine. The targets will be achieved, but the message that we're sending to those great candidates is maybe you should plan elsewhere.
Well, we have heard some announcements from the federal government about finally reducing some of the immigration numbers, because Quebec has been complaining about that for quite some time, saying, well, we don't control all of the immigration, we control a part of it, but there's a part of it that's imposed by Canada, and that's right. There's nothing we can do about. And so there's been a lot of, obviously, criticism of Mark Miller and the way he's been managing the situation. But we heard Justin Trudeau saying, we're going to do our part, but now Quebec has to do their part. Is this happening in response to what we've heard from Trudeau? Is that what we're seeing with the announcement of this freeze on those 2 programs?
I think part of it. There's been an ongoing public debate between Premier Legault, the Quebec immigration minister, and also Minister Miller, the federal immigration minister, and also Justin Trudeau. Immigration has become a top political agenda item, and which is fine. We haven't seen it for a number of years, and it's how we build our society. So it should be at the top of the political agenda.
Agreed, yeah.
But those discussions are best kept behind closed doors, involving associations that I'm involved with, the ACADI, the Quebec Immigration Lawyers Association. We don't have those discussions with the government. They don't call on us before making those announcements. And we could certainly be on the front line to provide advice and to provide recommendations, because we talk to the clients every day. We talk to the employers, to the businesses that are affected by these decisions, and we could certainly be part of the conversation and let the government make those decisions. But going back to what you were saying, that Minister Miller's role is dialing back the numbers of immigration numbers. Those numbers are national. They're not just for Quebec. So Minister Miller has announced that he's going to go dial it down from 500,000 permanent residents down to 365,000 over the next 2 years. It's a decrease, but it's really going back to where we were about 4 years ago. So it's not a real decrease in over a horizon of 10 years. And I'm not in disagreement with that. I think 500,000 target was too high.
Sure. A lot of people seem to be in agreement with that. Yeah. It's just too much for our country to absorb at once.
Yeah. Now, when you're talking absolute numbers, what we don't hear is that you have to put that in the context of our total population, both for Quebec and also federal.
Yeah.
And for decades, the federal immigration government minister targeted about 1% of the population. That was pretty much the overall benchmark. 1% of the population is how you integrate new immigrants every year. So if you have 40 million people in the country, 400,000 is a good target. 500,000, in my opinion, was too high. 365, you're in that range. For Quebec, let's take it to Quebec. There's 9 million people in Quebec. We could go up to 90,000 people a year. And so the PQ has announced on their platform they want to dial it back to 35,000. And Premier Legault said that at over 60,000, it would be suicidal. Well, no, it's not suicidal. If you look at demographics and numbers, we could go up to 90,000 every year.
Is there a risk of going too low as well?
Of course.
There's an economic risk.
Well, there's an economic risk. There's a cultural risk. There's a message you're sending out that you're closing your doors and the best candidates will go elsewhere. We'll still have people coming in interested but are we getting the best people? Are we getting second-grade immigrants? I don't want to call them that, but are we really getting the best and the brightest and the people who can contribute to our economy and our society? I'm not sure.
All right. So we've been speaking with Patrice Brunet. He's an immigration lawyer, and I feel like we're going to keep talking about some of these topics because it is changing quite frequently. Thank you so much, Patrice, for joining us today.
My pleasure, Justine.